Welcome to the Frankfurt Book Fair. I'm just going to give you a taste of what we can see here up on the first floor on the fifth conference center. I'm going to show you. This is an AI talk going on at the moment. I'm just going to show you this.
I think that probably happened every technological innovation we've been on so far. But it really is. It's fast, it's pervasive, and it's unusual because it hasn't come from the government. It hasn't come with, the lessons about how to use it or what it is. It's not like electricity or long-term or the other things that we're introduced to. So we're finding our own way in a kind of fairly organic fashion. If I took you back to a little bit of what I said about the two operating systems that humans have, we have our intuitive feeling system and we have our thoughtful, reflective system. What does AI not have? It doesn't have it first. It can describe going to a funeral. It has never felt the agony of funeral. It can describe an orgasm. It has never enjoyed an orgasm. You can go through a million things, but AI can describe but not feel. And one of the fears I keep hearing people saying about AI is a lot of AI slots, they call it. Well, if you trust that people are all eccentric, we're all idiosyncratic, we all have unique characteristics, think of that the input to your partner, your collaborative creative partner. And so long as you are more and more and more yourself, then you will be more and more distinctive. And we're moving into a time when we're going to have an overabundance, a surfeit of content. And we're going to have a deficit of attention. So the real challenge we're going to have, I think, quite soon is that there is going to be so much to look at, so much to understand, so much to ingest, and it's going to be very difficult to navigate. So creators need to be more and more themselves. We're going to see more and more distinctive. You'll see a lot of amorphous stuff, but I think we're going to be forced to become more and more distinct, and AI is going to bring out uniqueness even more than stuff. So I'm actually going the other way around. And just to answer the second question, if you like, quickly, I know we pressed for time there. I think, in a way, the value proposition of publishers to authors is changing, like it always does. It evolves. What people really rarely talk about in publishing is that publishing has always been a provider of technology. From Gutenberg onwards, things happen, technologists within publishers do. And my own view is that I think publishers should be beginning to specialize their own large language models, not creating them, that's way too expensive, but specializing them so that a Macmillan LLM is quite different from a Penguin Random Master and so on. And it helps the authors who work with those publishing houses to bring out the best that those houses like. So there'll be collaborative creativity tools, there'll be editing tools, all sorts of things that authors can present to the publisher, but far more accomplished work much earlier on.
We're actually running out of time, but I'd like to get at least one question from the audience, if any. Anybody? Oh, no. Okay. Oh, sir.
Because there was an interesting question about the gap between big and small publishers. I didn't hear any answer. Just distinctive answers. Could you maybe tell us something more about this? Do you predict about the gap, if it gets wider or smaller?
Peter?
So the small publishers all worry about the big publishers having more resources and technology teams and being able to train their own models, maybe, and so on. And the big publishers can't sleep at night because they're worried about the small publishers who are nimble and might come up with the innovation and so on. So I'm not sure I see a structural issue there. The community that does feel the threat the most are the illustrators, actually. So text is a little more fluid. It's a little harder to have such a strongly, only if you're really a world builder or you have a very distinctive style. But the illustrators were threatened already 3-4 years ago. They were already finding that that the fake bad versions of their work was, more of that on the internet than their own work and so on. So the individual creative illustrator, I think, has suffered a lot. But they've also helped to change the conversation. The and I would add one more thing. I think in the case of Hollywood, what the Hollywood Guide screenwriter folks told me is they said, "Look, we were able to deal with this through labor rights because copyright law takes so long to change, but labor act we can create a new agreement." And so the screenwriters were able to say, "I'm not sure it was the right decision, but they were able to say, we put in place these safeguards through labor action." So organize with these small folks.
Okay. My closing question. Uh, what guiding principle should publishers, creators, and policymakers? I know that one of our leaders in the Philippine Congress, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, is in the audience. What would you tell them uh, in order to embrace and ensure AI supports rather than undermine creativity, cultural diversity, and fair opportunity? In other words, your closing statement on the topic of publishing, creativity, and AI.
I think we need to experiment. I think if you're not doing even just trivial personal experiments, it's going to be quite difficult for you to keep up. So experiment and embrace attitudinally that this is part of our future lives and we need to be open to it. And then educate, let people around you understand from your own activities. This is a social change for all of us. And I think we need to just manifest it and talk about it, and not be secretive or shy or embarrassed by our embrace of AI. And
Thank you. Christine?
Okay, it's a rather complex question, but I will try to take my take on it. And I think it's education, protection, and what's the third one? But it's you should educate the people about what is how to process information, then protect copyright and protect the creators, and also responsibility that you have people to take responsibility for the works for the content which is published. Yeah, I think these three things are very important.
Peter?
Copyright is fit for purpose. Copyright is fit for purpose. It adjusted to the videotape and the photocopier. So that's number one. Number two, let's try to get everyone around the table when we make policy. So the unfortunate thing is because of the way the American system works, where copyright issues are decided in court, it's become difficult to have the conversation. But in Norway, for example, the Norwegians were very worried about what would happen to the Norwegian language. So when they decided to set policy, they had the authors, there are 5 authors associations in Norway. They have a lot of views. The publishers, the library, and the researchers, and big business, and the data centers all sat around at a table and said, how are we going to respond? So government, the AI companies will tell you, oh, we can't talk to these guys. They don't know what's going on. They're just trying to hold us back. That's not true. It's not true. So all around the table, and copyright is fit for purpose.
For our authors, scholars, illustrators, I think there should be integrity. Like you should not integrity not only uh based on the veracity or the truthfulness of your work, but also being able to stand by your work, whether it is entirely or partially AI generated or not. You should be able to stand by your work, know your work by heart, and be able to really know and perhaps explain or help advertise or help advertise your work, and yeah, research and creative integrity.
Thank you to all our panelists for sharing your insights. Let's give them a round of applause. And to everyone here at the Asia stage for being part of this important conversation. If there's one takeaway that I got from today, from this conversation, it's not AI.
Hello,
It's not technology.
Lawrence O'Brien here. It's Thursday afternoon. I'm at the festival. I had some great meetings. We've got lots of things happening. Lots of clients want to work with us here, publishers, and doing a lot of advertising for people. I hope everybody's okay there. Thank you for watching this short video, and I'm going to end now. Thank you
For being here. We hope that you have gained as much as we have from the